Traders, and welcome to the All Markets webinar. This is Bruce at Bookmap. We'll be going through live order flow using Bookmap. It is forward-looking. We will also take positions if something arises. We will also take, and the goal here is it's not about the position. It's not about being a trading room or anything like that. We'll go through the risk disclosures in just a minute, just so you know. What we're here for is order flow, understanding the behavior of others via their orders. That is how they participate in the auction process. That is what we're going to go through and really dig into deeply. And due to that, we can look for edges and advantages, or just show how you may consider managing, not just finding an opportunity or interesting order flow event, but then managing your trade around it. So we'll go through demos to show this. All right. Again, it's not a trading room. Okay, so we have just a couple of events here to go through. Every Tuesday, 1 p.m., we have our onboarding webinar. What we do is log into bookmap.com, subscribe to data, download the platform, get it up and running, connected to data, and then start looking at the markets. We'll go through this process and guide you through how to do that and get up and running in Bookmap. Exciting stuff here. We have a supply and demand setups course. It is new. It is on our Learning Center, and it is free and open to all. It's exclusively on the Bookmap Learning Center. So let me show you where you can find it. If you go to bookmap.com and you just come up here to click on the education link, click on that, and then you're in the Learning Center here. Okay, you'll see all sorts of different courses. You'll see our calendar here of events and everything, and there's a lot of good stuff in here. Market mechanics course and different strategies and getting started about how to use all the features in Bookmap, but it is this course that is new here, the supply and demand course. So let's click on that and take a quick look here. What we're going through is how to read and understand Bookmap with the liquidity heat map. So understanding, for example, here, the supply in the heat map. These are limit sell orders here. And then understanding the market buy orders that transact into those limit sell orders. And in this case, you can see here it was completely absorbed. So you might have heard of some of these terms out there like absorption or exhaustion. Well, here it is visualized. This is the participants in the auction process. We can show it. A candlestick chart simply can't. All right, so we start with something like this, then we get into different setups. So for example, if you might be like a VWAP trader, volume profile trader, or trend line trader, or patterns, or even indicators, we'll go through examples of how you can apply your style of trading to Bookmap. Okay, and the additional insights you're going to get. So this is a great video here to watch if you want. In fact, I'll put this one in the chat for you. This will bring you into the Learning Center as well, and then you can look at the other videos. So just a second here. Okay, oh, thanks Dan, you put in the Learning Center link. Okay, there it is. It'll take you right directly to this video. Here's another one we spent quite a bit of time on Monday and Tuesday. I think Tuesday, the low volume pullback. This is such a great setup here. It can work with any style of trading. And we're going to show several examples again today if we can. I don't know if Laura is in here today. I don't see her. She had asked about it. And it's a really simple setup. Okay. Here, wedge patterns. Another one, flag patterns with a failed breakout, and a trend line, looking at specific trend lines and accumulation in areas. This is something we see all the time in this webinar is our failed mid-morning reversal pattern, or we might see the reversal pattern unfold. We also have the opening range breakout trade here, the orb setup with order flow. All of these apply to supply and demand, understanding the limit sell orders or limit buy orders compared to the aggressors, the market buy and sell orders. We also have one here on gap fills. Okay, so this actually is something I want to talk about today in the webinar. All right, so anyway, that's it. Let me go through the disclosures and then let's jump right in. General disclosure: all Bookmap Ltd materials, information, and presentations are for educational purposes only and should not be considered specific investment advice nor recommendations. The risk disclosure: trading futures, equities, and digital currencies involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. All right, let's jump in. We're looking at the S&P E-mini here, and we can see this big spike right here. This was non-farm. All right, so the interesting data, and it's kind of put some relief on the VIX, the volatility, and this kind of getting some information about the tariff plan from Trump and how that might be affecting the economy. That's why we see this big boost here. And then look at the example in here about that supply and demand course that we mentioned. Look where price went. This is where there's supply. This is where there's limit sell orders. This is exactly where we went and we traded into it. You see the big transaction, and this is where we reversed and sold off. It has nothing to do about anything else than supply and demand. All right, so this is how we can build an edge in here using Bookmap. All right, so some interesting stuff, interesting price action I want to go over today. And we'll come back and look at Bookmap in just a second. There is higher time frame stuff though I want to go through and show you guys. And we want to get that bigger picture perspective. So here we're looking at the daily chart on the left hand side, very simple candlestick chart. Here in the middle is an hourly, and then on the right is a 15-minute chart. Good morning, everybody. Alan, Alois, Duzman, and Shark. So this is pretty interesting price action in my opinion. Like I just was shocked to see us kind of inch and then close above the swings up here, and then we see the follow through. The other day we had this big move back, down, but it came right back up and closed up higher. And then here's yesterday and what it looks like in the chart as well. This is where we closed yesterday, and that's why you see this big kind of hammer or shooting star up here. And then due to the economic data with the non-farm, you see the spike higher here, right? So we are above all of yesterday's price action. All right, so that is quite bullish. And what's kind of interesting in this price action are these gaps, in my opinion. We have not filled the gap here where we broke out from the other day. Okay, so that's interesting in itself. This is 24 minutes. I don't know why. Let me bring this back down to a 15-minute chart. Sorry, guys. Okay, no, we did fill this gap then. Okay, got it. So we just filled that gap, and then we used at the close yesterday, and then now we see the jump higher here. Okay, so anyway, and you can see the sell-off, and again, it kind of it hasn't quite filled the gap technically, but it did fill in this area in here. Good morning, Stephen. And then you can see the reaction out of that area now. Okay, we also have a VWAP in here. I just have it on the 15-minute chart, and you can see that we kind of tag that, and there's a confluence here. We've got this area here, okay, these tops here. We fill the gap. We also have VWAP there. So we have maybe a confluence of different traders reacting at this area in here. And this is another thing. Now, we can look at this on the candlestick chart here, but let's apply it to the heat map. Okay, so in the order flow in Bookmap. Okay, now this is also a VWAP here, but this is a VWAP based off of the cash open. I'm sorry, it's not the cash open. Hold on a minute. I'm going to make it the cash open. It was off of 830. Hold on just a second. Okay, sure why. Add. Oh, okay. Oh, this is weird. Daily at 9:30. 0. Okay. Here we go. All right, so it'll update now. Okay. There's our VWAP. So you can see it reset here, right? So here's the cash open, and then our VWAP. All right, so now where do we go? And VWAP is actually something, let me change the color here. It is something that, you might be a VWAP trader or not. It really doesn't matter, but if you have your studies based off of it and you have data and you've integrated that into your trading plan, fantastic. Good morning, Rob. We're going to be kind of looking at it and maybe commenting on it, but we're going to be looking at the order flow. We're going to be looking at the swing. So we have a swing down here after the first big kind of pullback after the non-farm. It came down to about here, and you can see that a large sell transaction here. That's where we retested. Okay, so it's in these areas in here precisely that we want to see and understand the reaction of other traders. Okay, so let's zoom into this area and get a little bit of insight. So you can see that we trade down. This was a pretty sharp move here, right into high liquidity in here, and we kind of go sideways for a bit, and then we go down a little bit further. Okay, now there's high liquidity down here at 60, 56, 60, and we don't get to it. We never get to it. We get into this 66 area in here. It trades, goes through a little bit, and then we kind of bounce around. Here is where we see the buyers kind of pull it away. This is what we want to look for, is a break of some structure, but we want to see a few different things off of this to give us additional insight. Okay, now, I don't really like this one too much, but we're going to cover it just to go over the concepts in a little more detail here. High liquidity on the bid here, 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 and here. You see the red bars in the order book. So we know that that is very high liquidity. And you can see that we sell off and hit into all of that high liquidity. Okay, it transacts, and then price bounces around. So that means these sellers met these buyers here. The passive buyers were met by the aggressive sellers. And we inch lower and we trade into some of the liquidity in here. Some of it was pulled. But now we're putting a couple of different things together. Okay, where is that high liquidity? It is here, right? I'm going to add a horizontal line. And you can see we even retested it already right here. Buyers retested it here. This is our low volume pullback. Okay, where we look for more sellers to start to curl back in here and take it lower. Okay, anyway, we can start to align this low volume pullback with area transactions, liquidity, other order flow phenomena that is in here. Anyway, the move lower, and then here is interesting to see the buyers come back in and retest back up to this area here. Okay, so now there's a question in here. The buyers pulling away from this structure in here. Now we're still in some bigger structure areas in here. So actually let's mark them up. We have another one up here, and we have where it dropped from up here. Okay, we're going to see the reaction of the buyers and sellers in here. So you can see that buyers pull away from all of this selling in here. and this is where it's supported. It's supported higher. Okay. In fact, this is exactly where we came to, where it dropped from, and what happens again? We drop from here because this is where the sellers came in, and it looks like some selling came back into the market right in here in these areas in here. Right, so we have this back and forth in here. Now look where we pull back again. Okay, this is where we noticed the buyers shifted the market and moved away from this area in here, and there's high liquidity on the bid. Buyers don't come, sellers don't come down to it, but it's here. Okay, we're starting to understand the market structure and the participants in this auction process. Okay, and you can see that we go higher after this. All right, so now we're going to get into some of the setups to look for. Now we understand the market structure. Now we're going to be looking at some of the setups in here, how you can take advantage of some of these areas in here. Right, so see continuation day on NQ. Rob, okay, yep, sounds good. Yeah, Stephen, actually the anchor point and the VWAP, you'd have to do this manually in here for your regular VWAP, and then you can set, I mean, the best way to do it is just create a VWAP from session start, and then once you have that, you can open it up in here, and then open up also your anchor points, okay, and then you put in your reset here and have it reset daily. Okay, that's it. It doesn't matter what the date is in here, it resets daily at this time of 9:30. Right, so that's how you do that. And just keep it here, okay? And keep your VWAP open. And if you don't want to see it, just deselect it here, okay? And then it won't be seen, but you'll still have that information or data in the setting, right? Okay, so let's see. Kind of setups do we have in here? Nothing really too good. You know, we can see the breakout here, and you know, it retested here, retested again here, and then we see some selling down here, but we come back up and then we broke out from it. Pretty tough one to kind of see. I don't know if I'd be willing to put much behind that one there, thinking that we'd probably chop around in here a little bit longer. But the retest in here, potentially pretty good here. You can see that it retests exactly where it broke out from, and then we can see the buyers starting to curl back in. Again, I don't know. It's a lot of selling in here for me, and maybe a move back up to the top of the range, but a continuation move, not sure about that. If we'd see this continue, it did, and it's almost come up to high of the day here, or it has, but it has not traded into the 5600, 5700. All right, so let's put a trend line on this, or just some market structure, right? And you can see that we're breaking that right now. All right, so actually let's look for a low volume pullback. Okay, so let's take a look here. Selling coming in, right? And we'll go with our demo account here. This is not a live or a funded account. It is trading live, but it is not a funded account. And here's our low volume pullback. Okay, we see a cluster of buying in here, and then here's our sellers. Okay, and I want to look for one more push down here and see if we get some sellers. Okay, let's go. And now this volume in here is less than this selling in here. And now we're just going to look for a retest to the bottom of the range here. Okay, and if we were in a couple of contracts, we just take one off down here, and then we'd hold for a longer period. But we're just going to hit a single. Okay, and then we'll exit the trade. Okay, so and if we see buyers come back up above this area in here on buying, that's when we will exit the trade. All right, so it looks like we're actually going to exit the trade here. Give it one more little pullback here, and let's see. A lot of times you'll see it up here and then it fails, and then sellers come in. Okay, let's see it, sellers. You kind of chopping around a little bit, buying and selling in here. Okay, but I'm leaning on this strength of selling here. Okay, it's quite choppy. Okay, still sellers in control from here, right? But we do see the buyers coming in. Okay, so now let's see if we can get these buyers in here upside down and we get these sellers to hit. We're just looking for a test to the swing here. That's it. And we are in some pretty choppy area. Look at the profile in here. This is the most traded level here. So chop is to be expected. Okay, it's not in a low volume pullback. What we're looking for is in a trending environment. That's where this can really work out nicely. Is that trending environment. So we're not in really a trending environment. We're in this big high volume node in here. Okay. We're going to get exploration down to here or liquidity here at 84, 85. Let's see. Okay, really choppy in here. So yeah, this is not the trending environment we're looking for. And all we're looking for is an impulse move, pull back, and another impulse move. But it started to chop. Okay, so actually that one didn't work out, and buyers starting to come back in now. Okay, so now let's see if we can get a retest back to here. Okay, around 92 on another pullback. Okay, because now the buyers are starting to come back in. And we can target 5,700 up here. And let's see, we're looking for that decisive move, pull back, and then another decisive move in here, impulse move. All right, so let's see if we can get it here. It didn't pull. We just grabbing this small pullback here, and then now looking to see if we can get these buyers come back up. We've never tested this 5,700. Okay, so let's see if we can get these buyers to come back in and now push it higher up into here. So this is the pull away after the sell-off here, and then we're above all of that selling in here as well. Okay, so let's see if we can get a bit more interest on the buy side here. Okay, and we will look for taking our profit right here at 99. Okay, lots of buying, looking good. After this kind of sell-off here, and then buying coming back in. Okay, so target reached on that one. Again, guys, these are just one contract. It's not a trading room. We're going over these concepts to show them, and then how to manage the trade along with it. Okay, so there's some takeaways here, and some things like, and this is exactly why we're going and placing some orders in here, or why I like to do that in these live webinars, is we're in this high volume node in here. Okay, I'm looking for, I thought for sure we get probably a move, one impulse move, pull back, another one down to this swing, and we also had VWAP here. And we also had some liquidity in here as well. And all it did though instead was chop around in here. And we saw some of this volatility in here as well. There was like all of a sudden like big selling, big buying, moving around in here. All right, so that would probably be a good time to reassess and exit, because you know, we kind of overlooked that in here on the high volume node. I'm looking for these sellers broke the trend, pull back, and then another move lower, and then we could get maybe this move back up like this. Instead, we decided after being stopped out that we're above all of this selling in here. We're looking for the buyers to come back up and test to 5,700, okay, which I think has unfolded, right? Yeah, okay. So you can see that high liquidity in here did transact right into it. Okay, nothing but buying here, as you can see, 184 contracts up in here. And it was, yeah, that's about right. So that transaction at the figure did occur. Okay, now here's our breakout. And looks like next level here would be 5,700. Now this is where we can start to look for, again, for that low volume pullback. Okay, so we're buying and we're trending now. Okay, so let's look for a pullback to the trend, in the trend. Okay, so again, I'm drawing trend lines in here, but it's up to you, however you want to look at it. Maybe you're looking at horizontal lines like right here at 5,700, where we just broke out from, or you know, you're looking at a diagonal in here. Okay, this was all we got on the pullback here. Kind of shocking, but and we still see more buyers in here now. Okay, so now we're getting a bigger pullback. Okay, and buyers. All right, so let's see if we can get another move here. Okay, that's our low volume pullback, and buyers starting to curl in, and we're just looking for a move up to top of the range here. Or this liquidity here, sorry. Okay, kind of choppy. Now let's see this kind of, let's see if we can get, we'll probably get another pullback actually. We haven't done the deeper pullback yet. But we're just seeing strength in here so far. All right, interesting. Okay, so back to the trend line here. Now, if we get back up here again on buying pressure, then we'll get in again. Okay, this is where we see the pullback. Okay, all the way back to where we broke out from. Okay, so let's see if we can get some decisiveness in here. Yeah, I'm not seeing it right now. See if there's any questions here. Good morning, Dylan. Let's see, can you look at the NQ at some point? Sure. Yeah, pretty trappy is what you've noticed. Oh, there's Laura. Okay, so trying to go. I saw your post, Laura, about not understanding this low volume pullback. I think you're really overthinking it. I know you've been looking at it forever. In fact, so it's a really simple setup. I mean, where it gets a lot easier is in trending environments. And that's where you can it really kind of shines, because you get these big impulse moves, and then you'll get this kind of trickling back up and just not enough buying, and the market exhausts out. You don't really see much activity over here. Is usually pretty dark in terms of liquidity, and then you're looking for those sellers to come back in and take it back down, okay, and hit the next target of high liquidity. All right. So anyway, not seeing much at the moment. And let's jump back and take a look at our bigger picture here. Interesting moves in here. They're quite choppy right now. And why don't we jump over to that NASDAQ? Okay. I'm going to filter the heat map a bit. Okay. Yeah, NASDAQ as well. Did not trade up to the high liquidity up here at 2200. We have some, for those of you following the CVD, then pretty nice one here, actually. You can see the move here, a little higher high, but CVD's not buying it. You can see that this is a lower high here. Okay, and now what does that mean in the bigger picture, though? Just means that all of this in here, just adding together a negative number for a red dot and in the volume, and a positive number for the green dot, that there's more selling in this area than there is buying. That's all it means. And that's why you see the divergence here. This is a very simple indicator in that regard. Okay, but it doesn't mean like okay, we do get a sell-off here, but look where we went to, back down to where we broke out from here in the market structure, okay, right here. Now let's see, do we still find more sellers in here? Okay, based off of CVD, this would be a sell right in here. Okay, so in fact, let's just see. Let's put something behind it and take a look. All right, and we'll just kind of have our stop up here and our take profit right down here at the bottom of the range. Okay, because I think we have to be very careful with cumulative volume delta and indicators. We're making a higher high here, and there is buying interest, and we haven't traded up to the high liquidity up in these areas here. So has nothing to do with divergence, right? If there's buying interest right now in these areas in here, it doesn't matter how divergent this is. Okay, so be very careful with, or at least I like to be really careful with divergence, because how many times have we seen oh yeah, its diversion should sell off. It starts to sell off, and then the buying really comes back in. And anyone who's short in any of these, in this whole area in here, is going to be the fuel to the fire to the upside, and you get some really, really powerful moves based off of that. So anyway, you can see that it's selling here right now. At least it's selling off a little bit, but look how it's doing it. It's not very decisive at the moment. Okay, so buyers can still get back in here and whip this back up. Okay, we're looking at this as being a range bound trade based off of cumulative volume delta. Yeah, it looks like Doug is typing. I bet, Doug, you're probably looking at some options levels in here. There you go. Excellent. Thank you, Doug. Resistance on the SPX at 5680. It would be 5703 on the ES. Yeah, great. All right, we'll take a look at that in just a second here. Let's see how this plays out, because I'm wondering if this is going to be, selling, failing to take this lower in here. Okay, now this is actually looking quite a bit better right in here right now. After we see some decisiveness here below this little choppy range in here, and then the selling coming in. Right, that's when we look for this to trade back down to the bottom of the range, or it could even come back down into some of the lows here. It could break this here. And we've retraced back up to where we just dropped from. Okay, now this is where the buyers, if there's buying interest, they can take control up here and get back up in here. And if they get back up in here, then likely we will get the breakout. Okay, really no decision. No, it doesn't look that decisive in here. It's just kind of chopping around in this range in here. This is the only break that we do see, is the break below here. And now we're breaking, looks like we're going to break above it. Okay, so this is what I'm talking about. Like maybe we shouldn't have looked for a move all the way back down here, right, to bottom of the range and a break of it. You can see we're stopped out here. Okay, now let's see. All of this divergence in here does not matter. We can see if we get the buying interest in here, and they traded into this high liquidity up here. We get this continuation of buying. It's likely here. We can even take the opposite trade in here. We'd be looking for the move up to this high liquidity in here. Okay, so that would be highs of the day up here. Or this 20,200. Okay, so all that divergence is meaningless if we can get back up above here. Okay, and I move my stop back down to here where those buyers came in. Okay, here's some more buying. Let's see if they can get back up here. We can get back up here. That could be pretty nice. Okay, high liquidity coming in at 150 here. Nope. No, this didn't play out. Okay. Still some divergence in here. It's just pretty choppy environment right now. This looked pretty good to me. We have that high liquidity in here. It transacted into it. Maybe we can look for a bigger pullback, but no. In fact, we're not seeing that buying interest now at all. All right. So anyway, these were just kind of some tests I wanted to see, or demo how this may work with some of the high liquidity and some of the transactions in here. One of the things, like in the Bookmap Academy, for example, we've been talking about is these types of trades in here are not the ones to be taking. We talk about waiting for your level, waiting for your higher time frame, and then looking for the order flow to support it. Okay, and these are not high time frame levels in here. That's for sure. All right, let's jump back to that S&P. See what's going on. Okay, down to high liquidity here at 90. It transacted, it looks like. Yep. So Doug, your options level is up here at 03, and that's really right where we came to, and it really just stopped. Well, let's put a so this is now high of day up here, and we also have an options level from Doug. Okay, some resistance there. Doug streams on Mondays and Wednesdays if you guys are interested. He's looking at the a lot of different options, but information in the bigger picture, and then how it in bellwether stocks as well, and but then how it applies to some of the indexes in here. As well as some of the individual stocks. But anyway, this is been kind of a new avenue for the last few years due to the zero DTE options, which made all of this unique, where we didn't have that environment before. And the order flow is going to shift and change due to a lot of these options positions for the indexes, especially. It's going to be weekly on the individual stocks, but the indexes you can have the zero DTE. All right, let's see here. Yeah, to me, I mean, I'm starting to see the potential here for a reversal pattern, right? So bigger picture, reversal pattern in here. Bigger picture is actually kind of convoluted. This kind of medium time frame in here looks like a potential like head and shoulders in here. Right, and it's still holding in there. It hasn't broken yet. And we're right at point of control again, right? This kind of choppy area. So for the auction to leave this area in here, it needs something significant to unfold. So we'll be looking for a pretty big move by the aggressors in here, or maybe a lot of liquidity at a certain area. And for example, maybe supply on the offer up here, and buyers aren't interested, and then we're looking for the sellers to take it down. Okay? And but we would be looking for quite a bit of selling to move it away from this area in here. This area is value. This area is the where price is comfortable right now. Okay, for it to get uncomfortable, we have to look for a big move. Okay, tearing away from this area in here, kind of like a like a rocket ship, leaving the Earth, and the gravity, the amount of thrust it needs. We'd be looking at volume, and in that case. Okay, let's see. Do we get buyers now interested? Taking it back up here, retesting that zone, that option zone up here. I don't see them yet. I see nothing right now. It's just pretty choppy. You can jump back over to that NASDAQ. I'm kind of curious to see what happened there. Yeah, pretty choppy in here too. This still looks good to me in here. I think this was enough volume to be able to do that. It clearly wasn't. One of the things at NASDAQ, like especially I think in this environment, you'll note how the NASDAQ chops a lot, but these areas of high liquidity in here, I saw this dot here and I thought, well, I think they got it. I think that we'll probably get the move up to the highs of the day, but we didn't. Anyway, my point was that the high liquidity in here is even more impactful in the NASDAQ. Okay, so Bookmap will help you even more, I think, Dylan. Okay, because look for it and go back and test it. I mean, here it went right through it, right? But here it didn't. Right? It bounced. Okay, so just go back and take a look in here. In fact, filter your heat map. You can use this slider up here, or you can just right click on the heat map and then go to heat map settings, and then use the upper and lower cutoff in here. Okay, so this will really help you. And then what you're looking for is just that really high liquidity that matters the most. Okay, and then start to look for, and you can just kind of quickly just gauge it in here. Is there something to that? Well, here's high liquidity, we trade it and we sell off. Here's high liquidity, we trade it and we sell off. Here's high liquidity here, and we trade through it, but look how we trade through it. Okay, so it's above here on heavy buying. Okay, here you can see there's not as much buying, trades into it, and then we see sellers after that. It didn't trade, it traded through it a little bit here, but we don't see the buying up here. Okay, here, this is where we got, or I was looking for the continuation here. We see the buying into it, and then we see a little bit of buying above it. Okay, so look at this high liquidity up in here, and did we trade to some of it here? Yeah, we did. Okay, now are we going to get this big move, that big volume coming in? Let's see if we can on that buy side and try to target some of the high liquidity up here. Yeah, Dylan. So yeah, you've seen this. It's been hard lately. I mean, I think everyone can kind of attest to that with this tariff environment. And we don't know. I mean, there could be a tweet or a post or a reaction from a country or something, and the market can go just haywire. So be aware of that. And make sure that you have You understand that risk. Guys, it's just really choppy. There's not much to look at here, to be honest. I'm not seeing much. Here, let's put it to the test here. We just traded to high liquidity here. All right, so let's kind of missed it already. Oh, okay, we're looking at the wrong one here. We're already in it over here. Okay, that's right. Okay, with the Trader Map Pro version. Okay, so actually I was looking for putting this to the test in here, hitting this liquidity and then looking for a bit of buying coming back into the top of the range, or this liquidity here at 160. Okay, but we kind of missed it already. Okay, all right, so right back down. Okay, let's see, do we trade this high liquidity here? Nope. Some here, not here. Okay, there we go. Okay, now can we get our buyers to come back in? Okay, and I'm looking for buyers but back up above here, though, this kind of 144. Else I don't want to get in. Okay, there's high liquidity again. Okay, so now we're moving away to this other high volume node here. Back down to the bottom of the range. Okay, here we go. All right, so here, let's see now if we can get this move back up to high liquidity here. Boy, the Nasdaq just moves. It just moves quickly. You know, here's where like we can kind of put a bit of edge on our side, and there's not really there's a little bit of a pattern in here. It's right in here actually. We were kind of reactionary with the entry in here. This would be the ideal entry somewhere in here, I think. But there is a pattern. We covered it. It's in the on the Learning Center here, the supply and demand setups. So go in here, and then we're looking for this kind of trend line break and accumulation. This is the one here. It's only 2.5 minutes. So what I'm talking about in here is you'll see this kind of, this is really important in here for this pattern. And we saw it. It unfolded. But we're looking for it in here really in this break. And it happened kind of quickly. But we want to see lots of liquidity, as you can see here, getting filled on the way down. Okay, so lots of buyers, sellers hitting into it, but still has more supply. Here we have a key level, we have a structural break, and now we're starting to look for buyers on the other side in here. Okay, and in this case, look for what really helps on this one is we're oversold. Look for that oversold condition. Okay, and in this case, this one was pretty good today. Because we're going with the bigger trend to the upside, and we have a target as well. And that target would have been up in here, maybe these high volume nodes up in here, okay, back into the range because we're outside the range here. Does that make sense? There is a setup here, and let's zoom in here a little bit. We see high liquidity here, traded here again. And then some down in here. Okay, and we can look at this here, and then here's our break. Okay, you can even look at, get a little more aggressive in here. It is this pull away here, and we need to see it on high volume. Okay, and we did. We saw this dot in here, and then I got in a little bit late here, and then this is even better though here. It would be about the equal price level, but you wouldn't have to worry about a pullback. You can see here, it didn't go against you at all. Okay, and then we're just looking for taking it up to either this liquidity here where it dropped from, and there's liquidity here on the offer, or up here as well. Now, you can also, since this is oversold, it is counter trend in the bigger picture here for the day, and we do have some targets in terms of high volume nodes or highs of the day as well. Okay, you can see what we did here. Okay, we just traded to the top of the range here, and that was it. Okay, it hasn't gone through it. All right, does that make sense? You know, looking at some of these setups in here, we can go through it again and again, and we might see another one here. Okay, let's see. Okay, there it is. There's our pop. Right now, we're not oversold though. Okay, for us to have it retest like this is not out of the question. Okay, so we're just kind of chopping around in here, but we're looking for that pop. We're looking for the volume, and then we're looking for the break here. Okay, so this one, okay, we got a little lucky. There it is again. So buyers coming back in. We're looking for this accumulation right in here. Okay, let's see if we get it here. I don't see it. It started to show, and then it went away here. Okay, here we go. Okay, so now we get buyers back up here on another retest. Okay, so let's see if we can get a pop now, and we'll target the swing and high liquidity up in some of these areas up in here. Okay, now let's see if we got to get our buyers up here, and we're not. Okay, now this one doesn't have a lot going for it that this one did over here. It had more going for it, and we mentioned it, the details and the differences here. Okay, so now let's see if we can get a continuation out of this. So this would be our flag pattern in here, Rob, and we're looking for this impulse and pull away, pull back, and then we're looking for another impulse move back on up to top of the range and high liquidity. Okay, there we go. Okay, so we just took some in front of the high liquidity up here. Now here's high liquidity up in here. Are we going to make it to this 170 level? Are we going to break out? Are we going to come up to 200? I'll just keep it up here at this 170. And there we go. We're filled. Okay, so anyway, I hope that was clear, guys. When we wait for these setups, things work better. Now, if we wait for these setups, I don't know if some of these setups make sense to you guys. Maybe you haven't seen them before, but what we're looking for in terms of supply and demand, and waiting for it. Now, did we have key levels in here? No, we did. There's a lot of things we didn't quite have. We're still in a pretty big choppy area in here, but we did note that we're oversold, and we traded into high liquidity. Now that was kind of the key. This one with this one here, high liquidity getting filled on the bid. These are buyers. So when is the selling going to stop? And when is it oversold? We see pretty good move for this small time frame. It's not, again, I think that this is a pretty small time frame, and it did go below some of these swings over here, and hit high liquidity on the way down. Okay, and how we even got into this in here was not so much this setup, going through the details in this setup. It was more about the NASDAQ trading into high liquidity and bouncing. Okay, in this case, we had a much better one. We had it not only trading into high liquidity, it was oversold into high liquidity. Then the buyers came in. Okay, and we're right to take some off up here. We can look for the next swing up here as well. Anyway, guys, here, let me just put the link in here for this trend line break and accumulation. Should probably come up with a name for it, hope this helps. Okay. And let's in YouTube as well. Put it in, guys. Right, here's the setup. Okay. Again, this is all exclusively on the Learning Center, so just click on the link there and you'll come over to the Learning Center. And you'll see all 10 in there, all 10 videos. Now, just because like we noted, like, you look for your higher time frame, levels, and kind of what's moving the market for that day, which we know is non-farm. Going with that direction, looking for that strength after it being oversold, not a bad way to go with it. Okay, and now are we just going to chop around up in here before buyers are willing to take this higher, or are we going to see that now we are trending and buyers are going to take it higher? It looks like chop to me so far. We just tested the swing here, and maybe we have to take a breather before we find more buyers take it higher. Anyway, we can demo and take positions on it. Much lower time frame trades in here. These setups work on all time frames. It's just a lot better to wait for something that fits with the higher time frame levels. So here we just traded in a high liquidity here. Okay, so is that it for buyers? Our buyers come in. Okay, a little bit. Okay, is this going to be support after trading into liquidity here and here? Do we get our buyers again? No, not this time. Okay, what about now up here? And then where would we look for it to go? Back to the top of the range, maybe the liquidity up here at 175. Okay, so anyway, this would be a lower time frame one. Okay, and I would be looking to take off some up here at the top of this range, but we want to look at the liquidity in here. No questions over in YouTube on the setup? I'll put this into a TXT file for you guys, I think next week. And we'll go through more details in the setups checklist. You can also have some of these replay files for you as well. Okay, let's jump over to that ES. You can see the ES, due to the volatility recently, the ES has been behaving kind of like the NASDAQ typically does. It's calmed down a bit, made it the action a little more palpable, I think. Whereas before, boy, it would just trade to just like the NASDAQ, to high liquidity, bounce, go down to high liquidity, bounce, etc. Let's see, Doug is, yeah, getting back to Valley Fan on Chop in the NASDAQ and Hero. Okay, thanks, Doug. Good stuff there. Okay, it looks like it wants to go and retest. Well, we see the retest here actually. Just the figure though, Doug, it hasn't hit your 5703 level. Here's that setup on the. It looks like the time frame coincides as well with that Nasdaq trade in the ES. The same setup here. High liquidity. Now this is, like I said, this is much lower time frame, but this is what we have during this webinar, and we'll go over it anyway. So we do have a swing here on this small time frame. There's a couple swings here. We see the sell-off into high liquidity. Okay, so that high liquidity is here, here, well, and two places here and here. And it's below the swing as well here that we just drew up at this 89 level here. Okay, and then are we oversold? Okay, is that an opportunity then? Do we find buyers pull it away from this area in here? Okay, and they did. It really doesn't look that convincing. This is nice to see this big dot here. I'd like to see it build and accumulate in here, okay, before it starts to move. And we don't get that in here. Okay, we just get this big volume dot here, which is good, and it did break the downtrend. And we do have lots of buying here on the bid, the passive buying. Okay, and we're looking for that flow, that shift, that change. Okay, you can see it in the volume bars. That's not bad. Here you see lots of selling, but we know they're trading into buyers, and then we see the buyers lifted away. Okay, and see how we see this volume shift. Okay, right here, and I just want to see more accumulation in here, and then I'm looking for that kind of move, that pop. I would miss this one, most likely. All right, so and it turned into a nice little continuation pattern here too as well. Okay, that was a little harder to read, I think, than the Nasdaq. Does that make sense? You guys over in Discord, YouTube as well, is this making sense to you? I mean, it's a very simple order flow event or phenomena to look for. Okay, and we've developed it into a setup here. Okay, and then it's up to you. Like the setup is just the starting point for you to go back and test it now. Use Bookmap's replay mode, go back, test it, look for, okay, we're below a swing. Okay, on this time frame, it's a swing in this area here. In this time frame, it's significant, but you can see we're in a pretty choppy environment overall, right? But in this time frame, it works. And we just don't know on this time frame. This is where it just becomes dicier, is how much supply do they really have? Right, after a move like this, how many times has it rolled over and come back down into 85 here? A lot, right? A lot. Then we get a low volume pullback and it rolls over again and continues on lower, right? So this is why we want to put these pieces together and wait for a good one. High liquidity on the bid, getting filled, break of structure, below a swing, it's oversold. Maybe the ATR, look at an ATR as well. And you can just kind of look at some of these ranges in here. Like this is, maybe a swing in here is, pretty, let me get rid of that one. This one here. Something like this seems to be the range in here. So from 96, 91, so about five S&P points, right? Well, it doubled that. Okay, it went down, pulled back a little bit, and it went down again. That's where we're looking for. Maybe it's oversold. and we're in an uptrend. We're a non-farm, and then you can see, maybe am I justifying the reasons for this trade, or do we have something here? And this is where we have to go back and study it. Okay, so is this legitimate in here? Does it work? Okay, on this time frame, what would our expectations be? We'd look for move to back up to maybe here, and then maybe that's it. We just hit that single. Okay, I think this is very similar to Donkey Face's setup as well. Anyway, then we get a continuation pattern out of it. Okay, no sellers up in here, very little, and then buyers roll in again and take it back up to the top of the range. Okay, thank you, Alois. Answering Assad's question on cumulative volume delta. It also matters when I opened up my cumulative or my Bookmap and started collecting the data for cumulative volume delta. Okay, so it's probably going to be different than yours. I can guarantee that. Anyway, guys, what I hope to do here is introduce and show some of these ideas, like in this course, in the supply and demand setups in here. It's only on the Learning Center, like I said, and it's free and open to all. You can go there right now. Just go to bookmap.com and then click on education, and you'll be right there. But why we're going through it in here, and then also looking at taking some demo positions in here, is to show how these things work, and then it's a starting point to go back now and test it. Okay, does it work for you? Do you see it? Maybe you see it, but you just don't like it. Well, what do you like? What does resonate with you? Okay, probably something you've had success with in the past. Go with that. Alan, you love your mean reversion trade. Take it and run with it, and build it out. Build your playbook. How do you know when you're oversold? I'm just looking at lots of selling. I'm looking at some of these measured moves, Alan, and I'm looking at some of the swings. Okay, now that helps. But what really nails it for me is I'm looking at all this liquidity in here to be filled on the bid. Okay, so I'm looking for that shift and that turnaround. And again, I keep going over this example. This is a tough one in here, I think. I mean, it gets easier maybe in here, but there's still not a lot of buying accumulation in here. The accumulation is actually here, 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 and here on the bid, okay, the passive buying. And then that's when we're looking for that shift for passive to aggressive buying. Test it out, Alan. I think you'll love it, because like this could be your look at your mean reversions, you're outside of range, but where it can be really helpful is to go with the trend in the bigger picture. All right, let's go back to the current price action. All right, so all right, here's kind of another one. I mean, you can break these things down into many. Now, what do we have though? I don't like it. I don't like it at all, because I don't see a lot of liquidity being filled on the bid on the way down. Okay, this is just aggressors. Okay, back to the top here. Okay, so yeah, maybe it'll do it. Maybe there's enough aggressors. We don't know that, but this is where I imagine it's more likely we'll trade into high liquidity up here, and then we'll see sellers aggressively trade it right back down. Okay, NQ breaking out. All right, well then let's see if to highs of the day. Let's jump over there. Yep, Okay, so look at this 200 up here. Looks like that's where it wants to go. Now, I'd hold off on here. We're just traded into some liquidity here. Okay, high liquidity, and this has been the pullback so far. Okay, so I would hold off. I'm going to hold off. We got European close coming up. Boy, it is enticing though. That high liquidity up here looks great, huh? Yeah, see the way that it's doing this though. I don't think it's worth the risk for me. What prompted this? This is kind of out of the blue here. Is there some news? Or is it just the market's ready to move here? All right, so guys, see how like all this high liquidity in here is blowing out the heat map. Here's if that's the case, you know, that's one of the ways that we can overcome that. Right click in here, go to your heat map settings here, and then just bring down your lower, or I'm sorry, bring down your upper cutoff. Okay, see how if I bring it up, that means that anything above a certain level will show. If I bring it down, you know, I'm making that threshold easier. So now this is still high liquidity, but we see other areas of high liquidity. All right, so yeah, so you know, we weren't really convinced by this in here, and now we see the move back down into some of these areas here, and where it broke out from, retesting maybe this 175 here. I don't have the cues up, Alan. You can add it, I guess. Okay. And Doug probably has some levels on his cues as well. Or you guys, many of you guys do. Dylan, you keep asking, is there news? It's a volatile, you know. I mean, here's the VIX for the day, and this is delayed data in here. It's free, but you know, I've been watching this closely, and it's really interesting to see. I mean, several days in here, the market didn't know what to do. This is where it becomes a difficult environment, and these kind of events, just look at it here. Just zoom out. They don't happen very often. This is a daily chart. This is back to 2017 or 16, you know. Here, back to, yeah, here's 2016 in here. How many events do we have in here? You know, 1, 2, and this is, yeah, and that counts. That's 35. 1, 2, 3. Some spikes up in here, but really just, you know, 4 or 5, let's say. Where we see the big spikes in here, right? Then look how long we stay up here. Like, just compare it to the previous one here back in, I even forget what this was, this event here, August 6th, is that right? Yeah, August 6th. Huge spike up to 85. Oh, I'm sorry, 65. And then how long did that last? Not even the day. The day it closed back down to 38, right? And I mean, you can make a mint on these kinds of moves in here, and I think that's what a lot of traders were thinking as well. and it just was a volatile kind of environment. And it's kind of rare to see the VIX do this. This is kind of special. So anyway, now we're kind of coming back to where it broke out from. As you can see, volatility's kind of dripped off here several days as it's gone lower. See, Valley fan, what kind of selling reaction on NQ is what you want to see reversal? Yeah. Okay. Now it needs a weak retest, the same type of action around 2185. Thanks, Doug. The Q's resistance around 489. Okay. Let's jump back. Yeah, see how we stayed away from this this breakout here. Boy, that's harsh. I mean, look at that. Okay, now we can put this again to the test in here. You know, we just traded into some high liquidity here. It went through. High liquidity here, though. We can even look for our setup again. Right? I mean, it kind of did it here, but that's just not convincing at all. It doesn't look like it. Looks like it still needs to go lower here. Anyway, you don't have to draw trend lines. I was just trained by a bank trader years ago who really liked and only looked at trend lines. You can see this is where we dropped from here. We're back up. Okay. So 89 was your resistance level. Wow. Look at that, Doug. Beautiful stuff. Okay. All right. Well, then now it's retraced all the way back down to this level here. Right. Let's jump back to the NASDAQ. So we're at another level here. Okay. On this time frame. Now again, time of day as well matters. You know, here we're back down to this. We broke the swing, in fact. Okay. So now, did we see a lot of buyers come in here? Okay. Some in here, some in here. Okay, not a whole lot. So I'd look for it to come down lower and still trade some liquidity in here. Okay, that's when we want to see that shift from that passive buy side to aggressive buy side. And we'll just get a stronger move instead of just relying on the aggressors. Okay, so like here's our breakout. To me, it looks like it's going to be a failed breakout. I just don't see any support in here, right? Or demand in here. They're down here instead, around this 150 level. Oh, I don't know. It maybe kind of a key takeaway is for that supply and demand again. Look for that passive demand on the bid to be getting filled. Okay, and then we're looking for that transition, and you'll just see how these aggressors can only take it so far. It's kind of like they're not leaning on much behind them. And then now it does trade back down to some demand here. Okay, so now we can look for the aggressors here. Okay, so in fact, let's even put a buy stop up here. Okay, so now we'll see. We have some demand in here, and we're still going lower. Okay, so it's going to trade lower into demand here, and also let's see if we can get down to 142. Okay, now I'm looking for those aggressors to come in again. I don't see them yet. There they are. Okay, so now see we have a little more to lean on here. And we're in a pretty bad position at the top of the range here, but we're filled. Okay. All right, now let's see if we can get those aggressors to now move that market. Now this would be actually where we'd be taking some profit, to be honest, up here. But you were just kind of demoing this in here. All right, let's see. Now, again, we're leaning on all this passive demand getting filled, and now we're looking for our aggressors. Okay, well, still some more supply in here. Okay, trade to this demand down here. And now this is where, okay, so we didn't get quite this pattern that we talked about. Okay, we're getting a different pattern, a potential different pattern in here, like a double bottom. Okay, so instead of it moving away immediately, breaking that trend line, or breaking that structure, it retested into high liquidity again. Okay, and then we can look for those aggressive buyers now to come in. Right, there was still some more supply in here, so it came back down and retested here. Okay, so for it to come back up to the top of the range in here looks pretty good, and for it to break it is probably even better if we can break it on some buy volume. Okay, looks pretty good. Okay, so now we're looking for, we have the passive demand in here getting filled, and now we're getting our aggressors coming in. Okay, so where are we going to take some profit? Well, we're going to do the same thing on the opposite side here. Maybe we can look for, well, are we going to get a bigger move up to the top of the range up in here in this high liquidity at 170? Maybe. Or maybe we want to just, manage this a little more actively. Maybe take some off up here at 155, this liquidity here. Okay, or maybe there's some up here as well that's kind of fleeting though, up at this 165. Okay, well, we still have some more supply in here. Okay, they're able to, now we have a triple bottom. Okay, now do we get the really the question is, do we get the aggressors after the high liquidity is filled? And it is turned into kind of something really choppy. And this is actually, to be choppy at this time, this is the European close and end of the week, end of the day and end of the week. Well, maybe we want to be a little more aggressive on our management. Okay, so we're stopped out on that one. Okay, all right, so now I just want to cover one thing in here, because the management in here I think is a little sloppy. We should have been, the trading in general is kind of sloppy in here. Okay, we kind of jumped in and we didn't reduce at the top of the range in here. Okay, so the video does talk about that. This one. Okay, so the video does talk about that. Okay, so you're looking to reduce your risk. Just hit some singles. Once you start to hit some singles, you can look for some bigger moves. In fact, this is where this can turn into, you can even look for low volume pullbacks. Right, and these can be really powerful moves. You can see we found a good example here in the video, that very, very high liquidity getting filled in here. Okay? And then boom, this really took off to the upside. But Anyway, this is the pattern in here, right? And this one was a little more. This one, oh, now it's doing it. Now it's doing it, guys. Okay, so in fact, we can even kind of ride the coattails on some of this in here. Wouldn't look for much, but you know, back up to this 170 level, looks pretty good. And let's see if we can get a low volume pullback here. Back to the top of this. And nothing yet. Okay, there they go. Okay, and we're going to be a little more active here. Beautiful pullback here. Okay, let's see it, aggressors. Got it. Let's see it. And they should be able to step on it here. Anyway, Alan, this is a much better one here for your mean reversion, right? Back into that high volume area. Yep. Okay, just, you know, this is where you want to see it away from your high volume area and then a move back into it. Or if you're above it and here, you want to see the pullback and then a continuation in that trending day. Right, so there's two different ways to look at it, I think, Alan. So again, look for you. I think it would be, yeah, you have to be pretty far away from your high volume node. You see, all it is struggling up here because there's a lot of transactions up in here. Hey, are we going to get enough aggressors in here to move this? Are we going to ride this momentum in here? That's what we're looking for. But again, we're basically back in the chop, right? And we're looking for like a bigger move up into you know, maybe highs of the day in here, and it might do it. You know, we don't know, but we got to get through all of this in here, and you can see it's a battle back and forth between the buyers and sellers in here. Right, so are these buyers really going to take firm control? Is this the move? You know, they got to get above all of this stuff up in here, and they're trying. Okay, so we're filled on top of the range. We're filled. It'll likely fail and come back in the range now. We don't know, or maybe we'll find enough buyers in here and reach you know, the 2200 up here. Anyway, we'll flatten it and we'll call it a day, guys. I'm over my time limit here. I'm really excited about this course for you. There's a lot of good stuff in here, and we're trying to demo it in real time for you and manage it and show it. Go back, and it's a starting point to go back and take a look at it, study it, some of these ideas in here. Some of the easiest ones, I think, like this low volume pullback, you'll see how this low volume pullback here is mentioned in many of the other videos. Okay, so like the flag pattern here is mentioned in here. Okay, flag pattern failed breakout. The gap fill is mentioned in here, along with the trend line accumulation. trade. And the orb trade, the opening range breakout, low volume pullback in here. These are, once you're in and up and it's looking good, you can take some off, but then you can get back in, scale in to the into the position, and really nail it. Okay. Thanks, Shark. Thanks, Alois and Rob, Vinny. Thank you guys. Yeah, I think we'll see. Like I said, this is not convincing to me. I mean, we're just stuck in the mud here, right? This looks good, and we were looking for it over here. Well, we had to go a little lower, right? We had to go back down below this swing here, and then kind of pretty close to this one down here. That's when we're oversold, right? And that's where we got stopped out, and we placed our stop right here, kind of right where there is high liquidity. Okay, right one tick below it here, and then the thing turned around. Now we can avoid that, or we can go back and reassess it, and then look for, when does this start to make some sense? Being too oversold at kind of the fringe in here and trade it back up into here, for example. Okay, so from maybe even would have been better if it can come back down into this area, like the 120 level. Okay, you'll need to kind of put the pieces together. Look at your swings, look at the price action, look at your ATR, but for sure, look for high liquidity to get filled on the bid. Okay, and then when does it start to transition from sell side to buy side in terms of aggressors? All right, guys, hope it makes sense. And we'll go over it again and again. I'll put some more materials together for you guys. And, I think we'll have something real solid for you. Okay. All right. Thanks for coming, everybody. And we will catch up with you on Monday. Hit the like button, please, over in YouTube. Come on over to our Discord channel and take advantage of the community we have over here, and a lot of the resources as well. All right. Thanks again. Have a good weekend, everybody. Bye-bye.